The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hello, good people of the Bronx and beyond. My name is Henry Ovalles, and I'm your host for A Life in Art. This is it. We've come to our final show of our first season. On this show, we have brought you engaging and personal conversations with artists with whom you may not be familiar, but who we hope after these conversations you know a little better. Over the course of our 19 episodes, we've met performers, writers, activists, educators, a magician, a comedian, and more. We've explored how they began and how they continued their respective lives in art. Being that this is our final episode of the season, we wanted to share with you some of the themes and highlights that stood out from our guests. For artists, in any genre, the inspiration to create can come from many places, be they relationships, nature, or anything. Often it is introspection that motivates and inspires an artist to continue. Here's what some of our guests had to say. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so talk to me then a little bit about when, art entered your life. Was it, hip hop right away, or was it some sort of other art form?
Poetry, actually.
Okay.
It's funny because in high school, I hated writing with a passion. Like it wasn't doing it for me. Funny, years later, it's like, that's kind of how I'm expressing myself for the most part. It started with poetry, and I didn't really think about rap much. It was hard for me to take my poetry and put it to music. It wasn't intended for music. So I'd always been doing it here and there for a while, and then it just kind of progressed after a few years.
All right, and what do you think? Do you remember what sparked the poetry, Gina? Was it watching somebody
depression,
reading something?
actually.
Oh, that'll do it.
Yeah. I have these random bouts of depression every once and again, and I started when I was in my early 20s, which kind of led to the writing, and that was kind of a really good outlet for me at that time. And that's usually when most of my writing would happen. It was like when I was depressed, it would just kind of be like, all right, I need to figure something out. Maybe if I write, it'll help, which it did.
For college, I went to NYU. I went to the Tisch School of Arts.
Mm-hmm.
I was there for 2 years.
And what was the process like there? Let me back up a little bit, because you had to audition to get into Tisch as well.
Yes.
So talk to me about the difference between that audition and your audition from junior high school into high school. At this point, yes, more confident, and I'm going to give it everything I got.
Yeah, that one, more confidence. Stakes were higher. I knew that this is what I wanted to do, and I went for it.
Right.
Yeah.
So you were at NYU for 2 years, so you didn't finish the program there.
No, I didn't finish the program. It's funny because I went there and it was a great experience, but I started to not like acting anymore. And part of that was because I wasn't thick-skinned. I was 18, 19-year-old guy. I swore I knew what acting was, and I had no idea what acting was. I learned there, and I'm still learning.
Right.
But
it was a hard lesson, though. While you
yes, they break you down to build you back up, and I was just, I was too immature to survive that breaking down and building up. And then maybe, like 8 years later, the acting bug started to come back.
Again.
Yeah.
When did you get bit by the acting bug? Was it early on in elementary, middle school, some school play, or how did it happen? Church?
No. I just remember watching a lot of television growing up.
Right.
I remember watching Saved by the Bell.
Right.
We're aging ourselves here, or I am.
No,
and
we're the same, yeah.
and I wanted to do what they were doing. So my earliest recollection of wanting to be an actor was like I was 12 years old.
Got it.
But my dad recently told me that he's like, do you remember we were sitting watching television and you were 8 years old and you said, I'm going to be in there. I'm going to be in there. And I said, how old was I? He's like, you were 8. And I said, oh, because my earliest recollection is when I was 12. But I guess it.
And for you, it came when you were
earlier.
12 through a play or just watching TV?
I was watching
You
television.
hadn't actually done it. You were.
No, yeah. And I just said I want to do it. And that's when I told my mom, hey, I think we need headshots to do this. And it was like black and white headshots back in those days.
So you went through the marketing angle right away. Like, before I get my training, let me get the headshot.
Yeah, we got gypped though. There were so many gimmicks. Like,
Oh,
you know,
there's
you
so many
turn to the
stories like that.
classifieds
Got it.
and like looking for models, actors. We didn't know any better. My mom was like, sure, if this is what you want to do, let's do it.
This must be legit.
And then, yeah, $500 for,
Ah, yikes.
yeah, so.
So E.T., you and I have actually been on stage together literally hundreds of times with the Children's Theater Company. I've directed you in shows, you've directed me in shows. Why do you think it is that we put ourselves through that, getting on stage? What is it about it?
I think it's different for different people. When I used to start, I used to say, yeah, I'm an attention whore. That's what I need. I need attention. I didn't get it when I was a kid as much, divorced parents, that kind of deal. I don't know exactly what it is. I think maybe there's a part of it. For me, I'm very shy, and you know that. If I don't know you, I'm not talking to people, my head is down, and I don't speak unless spoken to, that kind of thing. And I've always been really shy. And so when I perform, that's the only time I get to talk to people, express myself.
Yeah, and people find that interesting. People that aren't performers necessarily always think, oh, you're a performer, you're always on, you're you know, you're the life of the party, you're the one that's always gonna, you know, be put in front of people to talk and all of that, and it's not necessarily the case.
Not the case.
I know it's not with you, and it's not with me either, so.
And people say, oh, he's so arrogant, he's so full of himself sometimes, he won't even talk to me. And it's like, no, I'm scared to talk to you.
So with what you do now, your close-up magic, do you have sort of a repertoire that you've been working on since you were 14, 15, picking things up along the way? How often do you integrate a new trick into your set? Or
Well, you're always learning new tricks. I mean, there's so much out there. Magic is 5,000, 6,000 years old. It's one of the oldest art forms there is. And so there's so much out there to learn and so many things. So I'm always learning new things. What I put into my act is not so much about the magic, it's about what jokes I want to tell, what I want people to feel at a certain time. So I mean, I don't mind doing any magic trick, but it's really what's going on behind the magic, what I'm saying, what I'm doing, what I'm feeling, what I'm trying to get people to feel.
right. We have to take a quick break, but we'll be back with more of A Life in Art when we return.
I already knew that I was going to go to college, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science, become the mayor or something, make the situation better for other people. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend.
We finally bought a place.
You seriously have enough saved to do that?
We've been putting a little aside each month.
So at the end of the month, we have nothing left to save. How is my account overdrawn?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Don't let E. coli mosh with your food. An estimated 3,000 Americans die from a foodborne illness each year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So always separate raw meat from vegetables. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
People think I'm trash, but they're wrong. Today I'm just an aluminum can, but one day I could be a stadium.
Welcome back to A Life in Art. As we look back on our season, we noticed that many of our guests mentioned how creating and growing in their respective crafts helped them learn more about themselves.
Because what this craft really comes down to is you knowing you personally, not on a surface level, not just, my name is Angel, I was born in the Bronx. It goes down to those private moments.
I feel
the moment like me going into my past and speaking about a particular time in my life that I'm able to bring to my work, because essentially what you're doing is you're bringing your life to the work, and you have to think of the writing and your life as a joint account, and it comes together, and the writing has to inspire you. It's not about memorizing lines. It's not about playing a character. For the most part, you're taking parts of yourself that are being inspired from the writing, and blending it together.
Being in the moment and just allowing yourself to kind of make whatever decision you have to make on an impulse and just go with it. You know, many times for myself, actually, and I know I can speak for many actors out there, but you're too much in your head thinking about what's the right choice, what's not the right choice, or should I be doing this, should I not be doing this? And improv for me completely helped me just understand that, you know what, just go for it. And whatever decision I make is the best decision at that point in time. So,
yeah.
And with my solo show, that's pretty much what I do up there as well. It's all improv because every audience is different, so you interact differently with each and every one of them.
Yeah. But what happens when you're confronted with an industry that is based on stereotypes? Our guest, Jason Michael Miller, talked to us about his experience and thoughts about LGBT casting. Take a look.
Really kind of just right there blew up on my face. I was like, wow, so that's kind of why people choose to not come out in the business.
Yeah, that makes sense, because I mean, you have things about people not wanting to say their age because then they'll get pigeonholed or this or that.
Yeah.
But what you're saying with something like that that's so much the fabric of who you are, but then doesn't necessarily inform, you know, your artistry as far as, you know, you can play characters.
Yeah, and I do get pigeonholed a lot of times. I think with the Key of Awesome, I think I'm like their token gay character.
Oh, is that right?
I think. But I have gotten the chance to play, you know, straight characters, and actually had decided not to come out for a long time because I wanted to play a lot of straight characters, and I think sometimes it's hard for me to authentically and genuinely play a gay character because a lot of times people want something very cliche and very
perhaps stereotypical.
Stereotypical, yeah. And so that's kind of uncomfortable for me. So sometimes it's a fight to kind of broaden I think, casting's horizon or whatever to kind of say, listen, let's give this character depth, because gay is not a description. Like when you're looking through the breakdowns, which is where actors find the work and the type of characters and descriptions, it should never be, you know, let's say Bill, gay character. It should be Bill, very quiet and nerdy, likes boys.
Right.
You know, or Bill, very flamboyant. You know, I think that they need to, because I think there's a lot of productions coming out with this kind of subject matter and characters and everything, and I think they should try to not make that a description. And I think it goes the same with ethnicity too.
I was about to say exactly that. As you know, as a Latino actor, I definitely run into the same thing where you know, and what's going on now in the news, obviously with all of the LGBT issues that are out there, and now with Donald Trump running his mouth with all of the Latino issues that are happening out there. That's that. This year was a difficult one for us here at A Life in Art. We lost several close friends, fellow artists whose legacies we hope to see continued for years to come through those they influenced while they were still here. Some of our guests spoke about the importance of continuing those legacies and never forgetting friends. Yeah. So you mentioned somebody in the band that, you know, I don't think we could leave the show without talking about. We've both experienced recently loss of some great artists that we've worked with. One of them, of course, being your cousin Tay John, who you've said to me was like a brother to you, and, you know, we saw them there, and he left far too soon in a car accident. And I've been thinking a lot also about our friend Mo Dean, Maurice, who was the founder of Hip Hop Theory, and also gone too soon at 33 years of age. I don't know, as a musician, as an artist, when you see a young artist like that, like Tay, like Mo, go, I don't know, what does it make you feel? What do you think about?
It just reminds me that, like, life is fickle, life is short. Also, that the only thing you leave is the love that you express. You know, your passion, it should be about love. You can't do this without loving what you do. Like, all the stuff that, if you're doing it for any other reason, you will end up just falling by the wayside or end up doing something else.
Right.
It's all hinged on how much you love what you do. And you learn that, you know, relationship isn't all about the good feelings. You know, Hard Rock was a great time, but I've had, like, really low moments, you know, like more low moments than high moments. And
you got to sort of use the high moments to sustain you through all the low moments and the rejection and the, you know, that might come.
Yeah, you got, and I mean, more than that, you have to know why you did it, why it's important to you. And one thing that, you know, I learned from Tajan is that was it. Like, he just, I mean, he pushed and pushed and excelled and excelled. He's one of those cousins that I told about that was just ridiculously talented. He started at just singing, and he said, I wanted to play piano. Then he bought a computer and started to figure out he couldn't afford the more expensive stuff, but he got the cheapy computer, he got the cheapy programs, and he just figured it out.
Yeah, and got it done.
You know.
It's amazing. I think that, you know, his passion, his inspiration, obviously, is what brought people together and pushed people together to create this great art. How do you foresee that continuing to happen in the future? I know that, you know, just the strength of his passion, of his creativity, should keep you guys going for quite some time. But what happens, you know, a year from now, 2 years from now? What do you envision Hip Hop Theory doing and going, and how does it continue to evolve without him physically present?
Well, he's present in all of us. You know, he taught and trained all of, not only us, but the younger kids, the students, and they've grown and gone on to bigger and better things, so to speak. So his legacy is not only with Hip Hop Theory, like he's brought it out to everyone.
Right.
So
Each one.
you have the Each One Teach Ones that he created, which are the free dance workshops. Every first and third Sunday of the month we do that. Free, absolutely free. That right there is how he brought everybody together, that one specific endeavor, Each One Teach One. And that, I think that's really how everything is just gonna keep continuing on. You know, the passion that he put into that, everybody could see, not only for the company, but that specific project of his. He was very passionate about helping the community and bringing people off the streets and teaching them not only how to be dancers, but teaching them how to be better people and how to interact with people, and just creating little artists, little Mo's all over the place.
Rest in peace, Tay and Mo. We'll be right back.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund Reading.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Information on hot water heating.
No. Sarah's bright, but when she's reading, she has trouble sounding out the words.
World music, playing track now.
No.
Let me try. Our daughter gets confused about which details in a story are important.
Which paper towels are most absorbent?
What?
Here are 5 product reviews.
Why are you not getting me?
See, I told you.
Wait, I was trying to show you how Sarah feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues, designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Teachers today are finding new ways to instill old lessons, proving that greatness can be found in everyday places, and that you don't need to be famous to be unforgettable.
Enroll, we say, we want you to be okay. Enroll, we say, take care of people for goodness sake. There's a plan for every budget, so don't accept defeat. Now you can get covered and still
buy me treats. You take care of your pets. Now it's their turn to take care of you. Visit getcoveredamerica.org to learn about your health insurance options.
Today, 1 out of every 4 American kids is Hispanic. That means many of the future doctors who will care for us, the engineers who will build our cities, the scientists and entrepreneurs of our country can be your kids. We all know how hard it is for you to send them to college. This is why we want you to know you are not alone. And every day, more people support you to make it happen. Many support you. And the Hispanic Scholarship Fund helps you prepare, plan, and pay for your kids' college education. Learn more at hsf.net.
For anyone, not just artists, it can be easy to succumb to frustration when things aren't going your way. Our guest, Juan Ramirez, spoke about how to approach this frustration.
Ira Glass has this nice little speech where he talks about, like,
when you first, especially for writing, I think it's with all art, especially for writing. When you first start, you suck. That's just how it is. You suck. For a long time, you're gonna suck. But your taste is good. So whatever you like, it's good. So all the art and all the stuff you sort of produce just doesn't measure up to your taste yet. And you got to keep going until the two match. And that's where I was at. I needed the both to match. I wasn't quite there yet, and I needed more education.
I didn't realize how much sound is important to like language and communication, and how sound actually influences a listener. Like, I think at the most like basic level, we're all like musical creatures, and so our ears linger on things that are musical. And so now I've sort of listening to myself has forced me to sort of be more conscientious of my word choice and my sound choice.
Right, as you write.
As I write.
Okay.
And as I edit. I don't think sometimes you can't pay that much attention as you write, because you won't write anything. You'll just be like paralyzed by your analysis.
Right.
But as you edit, it's something to think about.
Is writer's block something that you struggle with, or not so much?
When I'm really, really happy, I have writer's block.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. So you got to try to sadden yourself.
I have to like really, no, I mean like with all the political stuff these days that's going on, it's not that hard to be sad.
Understood. We began this show to learn more about what it takes to be an artist, what moves a person to continue to follow their passion while trying to support themselves in their everyday lives. Some have found a way to make their passion their living, while others are still working normal jobs.
Absolutely. I was this season working on about somewhere between 8 and 10 new projects, and I think maybe 2 or 3 of them were for any income. Right. But the rest I do por amor al arte, for the love of the art. Is that right?
That's right. You
good
got
Spanish?
It.
Good.
Por amor al arte. You got it.
But yeah, for instance, I'm doing a religious themed play in Piscataway, New Jersey, coming up. And like that's all of there, but you know, I'm always grateful when someone will at least cover transportation. Let me get there so I can do what I do with you and for you. But it's a continuous struggle, absolutely. So I love doing it. We make a little pocket change, but mostly I love doing it because I love seeing the expressions on people's faces when you bring art to them.
I've been working since I was 14, so I've always like just had jobs. Right now, like I've been sort of like living off of like a mix of savings and my family sort of helping out. But before, I actually just had like work, and I would like have like savings, and when I didn't have, so adjunct work is sort of like
right.
flighty to say the least.
Yeah, you never know when you're gonna. It's not like you're a full professor that you have something guaranteed. It could be. It's basically semester by semester that you get the letter saying, all right, you're back, or sorry, you're not back this year.
Yeah. So it it forces you to be a little bit more responsible with money.
Right.
And so I've always just had like a budget, with the exception of like the last 2 years. I've always kept a budget, know how much I'm gonna spend for that month, and then I like take jobs that are going to create that sort of sum for me, and then I just budget my money.
Right? So you're pretty good at stretching out and, and being practical in that sense. So right now you're actually making your living as a magician. Yeah. All right. Now see, that's interesting. When I say like if I'm going to interview an actor or a singer, I might say, okay, this is an actor, but with you I have to say professional magician. I have to put the professional in there, because otherwise I don't know why people tend to magician go more towards, oh, that's a hobby, that's a...
They do. Right. And I've always said that whenever I actually perform and I approach a table, if I'm going to perform for them, I say, hey, I'm Eddie, I'm one of the professional magicians here, and I make sure they know that I'm not just some guy they hired outside and taught 2 or 3 tricks to.
The set that you have now, what do you usually do, like a 1-hour set, or it could vary?
I mostly do close-up magic. Close-up magic is my big thing. I work in a restaurant performing like from table to table, and so I do very close-up sort of mini sets. And then when I'm hired to do outside stuff, 30-40-minute sets, usually if I'm doing like bigger stand-up kind of stagey things.
Everyone's journey and experience in art is different. They're affected by many factors, from childhood to adulthood, from internal to external. We asked them what advice they would give to the next generation of artists, and here's what they shared. Of course, you've already, sort of motivated me to get on stage and try it out, but is it something for somebody, a young comic coming up? What would you say to them? Would you, say based on your experiences, go for it?
No, but only if you have the will for it, go for it. Because there's a lot of It's great. The payoff's great, but there's a lot of backstabbery. There's a lot of funny people, and not in a good way. It's a lot of stuff you have to deal with. You deal with making that career jump. It has to be something you have to be mentally prepared for because it's scary. It's a scary world.
Right.
So, well, if you have that, then go for it. Go for it. Yeah.
All right.
I would say yes. I would say yes, but also nurture other interests. Like that's the only thing that I wish I had done more of was nurture my other interests because I was so like, no, I'm going to be an actor, and that's all I'm going to be. Right. That now I'm like, oh, maybe can I do this or can I do that or maybe I can write or maybe I'll start a blog. Whatever it is. Like I never allowed myself to pursue other interests because I thought it was going to somehow take away from my acting career when it could have only enriched it, enhanced it, made it better. So that would be my advice to someone.
Just make sure that you're doing it for the right reason. And if you're truly, truly passionate about it, you're just going to continue to do it and keep doing it. And that's what I suggest. I mean, keep doing it. And if I could speak to theater. If you want to be a theater artist and you want to act and you want to perform, learn about lighting and sets and what goes in behind it, and learn about all of the different aspects and costuming and as much as you can and just breathe it, live it, love it, and do it, and always try to help others get them in and do it and network, but not network in this, just help out, do things.
Right, not network in the sort of superficial, let's see what this guy can do for me type of way. But
exactly. I mean, after I had done 80 plays, I saw somebody doing a play at the Met, and I told them that I want to do the play, just let me carry on the candle, and they gave me the opportunity.
Really?
There's no ego involved. I just wanted to be on the stage and carry on a candle. So
yeah.
That's the thing. I think just really got to do it.
Right, just keep at it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
We're out of time here. Actually, just the last quick question. So are you happy with your journey in the arts? Is it something that you would recommend for someone else to follow if they had that passion?
I'm always for people following their passions, finding what you're good at. And Robert De Niro said recently, passion should always trump practicality or something like that. He said something very similar to that. And I think that's absolutely true. Everyone should follow your passion, even if it's fixing cars. Follow that passion.
We hope you enjoyed this retrospective of our first season. Again, we want to thank you for tuning in and for all the positive responses we've gotten thus far. If you've missed any of our episodes or are just tuning in for the first time, you can catch all of our shows on our YouTube channel, A Life in Art. We want to encourage you to stay connected with us on social media. Visit us on Facebook at A Life in Art and Instagram and Twitter at A Life in Art TV. We hope you'll join us when we return with more stories from emerging artists on our second season of A Life in Art. So we talked about teaching a lot in education, and a lot of times a phrase that comes up with, artists that become teachers is that phrase that,
God.
Exactly.
I know what you're going to say.
What am I, so?
Those who can't do
Those
teach?
who can't do teach. So as an educator and as an artist, what does that, how, is there truth to that? Are you offended by that? What are your thoughts on it?
I don't take it personal. They're probably talking about somebody. It's not me.
That's a great way of looking
at it.
It's
not me.
Yeah.
I think honestly, like some of the most passionate educators that you'll have in classrooms are people who are artists, people who are living in the art, and people who have a strong sense of the meaning of the work that they're doing. I think it's like, that doesn't apply to me.